The Aston Martin Rapide has been around for a couple of years now, and believe it or not, this is an entirely new model, although it doesn't look it. There is something very different lurking within. But let's put that aside for a minute, because I'm confused. I always wondered, who buys a car like this? But more importantly, what does one do with an Aston Martin with 4 doors? What would you do with any 4-door? You commute, you cart the Rugrats around, you get your errands out of the way. Today we're going to do something, well, what you would do with a 4-door. We're going to go on a commute. Because the question is, who would buy this car? I've always wondered. So I'm thinking it's some sort of like well-heeled studio executive in Los Angeles that would go from his cool Malibu home and commute into the studio. But let's focus on really the fun part of the commute, which is the Malibu Hills here. Because after all, if you're going to go to all the stresses of the office, you might as well have some fun on the way in. Cell phone doesn't work, so you don't have to get on any conference calls. So let's focus on what this thing is designed for. And this really is the same platform. Very capable, especially for such a car that is really this long. The wheelbase is significantly longer with this car than it is with the Vanquish. But notice, you have these significant rough patches in the roadway. This car is a little bit more supple than the Vanquish was. Now, sadly, the fun part is over, and we're back to reality. So we're on Pacific Coast Highway here, and we're going to go south towards Los Angeles. Now, I would argue any commuter car, you want some oomph, and why shouldn't that oomph come from a 6-liter, 12-cylinder engine? Especially one that sounds like that. I mean, after all, work can get stressful, right? And you would want to have something that's going to soothe you going in and going out of your day. So why not the harmony of a 12-cylinder engine? So if we're really going to call this the commuter's Aston Martin, we have to look at the reason why it's different, and that's 2 extra doors. And this isn't a situation of just tacking on 2 extra doors to an Aston Martin Vanquish. This is crafting 2 doors into an Aston Martin Vanquish. For example, the B-pillar. There is none. Actually, there is, but it's hidden behind the glass of the rear door. Then there's a couple of other details. Like if you look at a coupe nowadays or a convertible, when you open the door, it cracks the glass just like a 1/4 of an inch, and then when you close the door, it puts the glass back up, and that's to maintain a certain seal. Here, they go quite a bit further, as you can see. But once you get in here, it really is a cool looking seat. Do you guys remember the Porsche 928? It kind of has that look to it. It's like a bucket seat that's been like grafted in to the inside console. It looks very comfortable. And there's little details like the seats fold down and they have this beautiful like almost crystal kind of button to release the seat so you can put the seat down. And then there's this accordion thing back here to kind of hide all the mechanism. I mean, really nice touch. Then you got the belt, so let's put the seat back up and go to the ultimate test. So if you guys are distance runners and have just run a long run, this is not the most easy of tasks. But once you're here, I think the operative word is cozy. This is, I guess, another area that would have in common more with a Porsche 928 than a Porsche Panamera. But I have to say, man, it's a nice place to be. Even the diamond quilted headliner here, man, that is awesome. But I mean, it's a commuter car, yeah, an Aston Martin, but still a commuter car. So where's the sunroof? I mean, how about a panoramic sunroof? Throw me a bone here. Even a lowly Mercedes-Benz has a panoramic sunroof. While we're somewhat on the highway here, let's focus on the biggest change of the 2015 model year, which is the transmission. If you remember in the Vanquish film, they had a 6-speed automatic with a torque converter. What they've done here is they've given us 8 speeds. So the logic is 8 speeds, better fuel economy. That's kind of what they're going for. But you're dealing with a 12-cylinder car, a 6-liter 12-cylinder car, so are they really going for fuel economy? I don't know, because there's people like me that want to downshift and hear that noise, but let's actually try fuel economy. So let's go up. We're going 50 miles an hour, which is the speed limit. We're in 6th gear right now. Now let's upshift. We're in 7th, and we're about 1,500 RPM. Now the interesting thing about this, 1,500 RPM going about, okay, now we're going almost 60 miles an hour. Notice the engine isn't bogging. You would try that trick in an 8-cylinder, like a Corvette, going up into the higher gears, you would definitely be bogging the engine at this point. Good news! You convinced your wife that you can get an Aston Martin. Bad news, your wife still has a honey-do list for you. So, how do you get large rolls of butt tape and paper towels in your Aston Martin that you duped your wife into saying is a commuter car? Well, let's try. So, open up. The beautiful parcel shelf needs to go down. I almost feel bad putting butt tape in something that looks like it came out of a 1961 Jaguar. Okay, so far so good. I got 1 in. I got 2 in. Oh, wait a minute. We might be able to work smarter, not harder. That might go in the center. That will not go in the center, but it will go down here, and this, we go to our beautiful fold-down rear seat. And again, it's too beautiful to put butt tape on the leather seat. You know what? In that case, the carpeting. We'll just put it in there. 3 big containers of butt tape, paper towels, and it won't close. I guess, honey, I'm not coming home. So those of you fans of YouTube, this is the Google office in Venice. We just crossed over into Venice. That actually used to be the Saatchi & Saatchi advertising building. It was this very unique construction project because the building, the unique point or design feature of the building is a pair of binoculars is the entrance to the building, and that is now the Google building in Venice. We are still along the coast of Los Angeles, but we're in Playa, which is obviously right by the ocean, and on the other side of it is LAX. But as we're doing this drive, it really comes to mind, what is the competition for this thing? Not just who would buy this, but what is the competition for this car? Because if you really think about it, there's a Porsche Panamera. The only thing that would really compete with this is a Panamera that is like super kitted out, turbo, executive, and even that, I don't think you'd get to the price of this car. Then, thinking way down, I would say an Audi RS7, but even the fully kitted out Audi RS7, that's going to be less than half what this car is. And then you could think the Mercedes CLS 63, but same thing there. It's a powerful car, but it's not going to be what this is in terms of the full package. Think about what started out as the DB9 and then turned into the Vanquish. The key part of that car is the platform. It's called the VH platform, and I think the easiest way to describe that platform is it's like a Lotus Elise platform on steroids. It's like a tub. It's an aluminum tub with bits hanging off the front and the back, and that's what gives this car and the Vanquish such a strong platform in which to handle. I mean, you drive this thing around town and you don't think you're driving a four-door. Yeah, it's longer in wheelbase than the Vanquish, and the main thing I noticed between this and the Vanquish is this is much more supple over broken pavement. But overall, driving this thing around town, this is going to sound completely stupid to say this, but an Aston Martin is actually a fun commuter car with this new transmission. I mean, of course, you're going to have power to pull yourself out if you want. Like, I want to pass these morons here. I just hit the gas and I'm gone. So even with an Aston Martin, there is definitely room for improvement. There are things that I'd like to see changed. We already discussed this in the Vanquish film. I don't like the buttons on the transmission here. I'd love to see, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like a BMW-esque transmission controller down here. I know it takes away some storage here, but I just prefer to see that. A word about the color on this particular one, and it's kind of unfair because Aston Martin knocked it out of the park with the last car we got. That Flugplatz Blue was just exquisite. And I would argue the brown that this car is, it's like a dark metallic brown, it is an exquisite color, but paired with black, horrible. Now, if I were a betting man, and I'm not, and you really needed 4 doors on your Aston Martin, my guess is you're going to need to cross this bridge sooner or later. Okay, so what I've attempted to do here is approach this car and this episode as if I am the target buyer of this car, a studio executive in Los Angeles that would actually buy an Aston Martin Rapide S 8-speed. And with that, our commute is almost over. Welcome to the campus at Playa Vista, which is TV studios. You got Fox there, you got UCLA over there, YouTube Space Los Angeles here. Oh, and Konami is back there. And those of you that have been following our other show, Inside the Motoman Studio, you know we are doing that here now. Follow us on social for schedules. But here we are, now, our commute over, heading to the parking lot, and really, what have we learned? I think you need to join me high atop the studio executive office for us to understand what we have learned today from our Aston Martin Rapide S 8-speed. So we set out this morning to ask the question, can you commute in an Aston Martin Rapide, or really a $300,000 car? And I think we've proven not only you can, but it drastically improves your commute. So really the question should have been, would you? So I'm going to turn the question around to you guys. If I were to give you, say, $150,000 to a $300,000 budget, what would you commute in? And don't just tell me what car or why you would pick that car, but tell me what your commute actually is. Let me know in the comments below or via our social networks, Motoman TV, all one word, Motoman TV, all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I feel it's high time for us to retire to the executive lunchroom. What? You were expecting the commissary at, like, Paramount Pictures? Let me tell you, friends, this is as good, if not better, than you would get at any studio across town. So here's the script. Click here to subscribe, click here to watch one of our 350 other episodes, and most importantly, share us with your friends. You're only wasting half your life on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Motoman TV, all one word. I don't care who you share us with. Share us with your enemies. Just give the gift of Motoman.